Hi there, I'm Pam, and we're in my kitchen again, where I share with you some of my favorite recipes or those that are most requested by friends and family. Today I'd like to show you how I make my favorite granola. And I do prefer to make my own because it's healthier and it tastes better. And it comes together very quickly. But before we start, I want to let you know that we are in the middle of a storm here in Northern California and I lost power. So we're working with battery lights, and if you hear some noise outside, it's just tree branches falling and whatever. So anyway, I wanted you to know that. So if the lighting's poor, you'll understand. Also, I always put my recipes under the video. All you have to do is find the title and the word more in bold print and touch it and it will drop down. I have a lot of people say, where's the recipe? I can't find it. And I just want you to know it's always there. All right, so let's get started with this. We're going to use rolled oats, 3 1/4 cups. And it's important that you not use quick oatmeal. It won't be good. So just be careful that you're buying the old-fashioned rolled oats. I also want to say that if I don't happen to mention how much I'm using at something, like I told you, the recipe's there and you can find the amounts. Okay, so I've got my rolled oats. Chia seeds, they are high in fiber and omega-3s, and I like to use about 3 tablespoons. And hemp seeds, or hemp hearts, they're referred to. Same amount, about 3 tablespoons, a little shy of 1/4 cup. And then we've got a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, some nutmeg, 1/4 teaspoon. Don't go crazy on the nutmeg, just use a 1/4 teaspoon. Nutmeg can be quite overpowering. It's delicious, but you just don't want to use too much. On the other hand, cinnamon, and I like the Vietnamese cinnamon. It's stronger, bolder flavor. I like 2 full teaspoons of it. If you're using regular cinnamon, you might use a tablespoon. It doesn't really matter. It's just whatever you like. Okay, so we're going to put some raw nuts in here. You can use any kind of nuts that you like. I happen to prefer pecans. They're soft, so just break them up with your hands, or you can chop them, but chop them into large pieces. So, and then we've got slivered almonds. You can also use sliced almonds. I have sliced, or you can use slivered. Don't use whole almonds. They're just a little bit too much to bite into. Pecans are a nice soft nut. So we've got the almonds. That's about 1 cup. And then we've got some coconut. Now, my family's not crazy about coconut, so I can sneak in a 1/2 cup and they don't usually mind or know about it. But if they loved coconut, I'd put 1 cup in. So those are our dry ingredients. And if your family doesn't like coconut, just don't add it. So we're just going to stir this up. Smells good already. Okay, so now I've got avocado oil. I normally use coconut oil in this recipe, but coconut oil is a solid at room temperature, and I don't have electricity, so I can't melt it down. So I'm going to use avocado oil, as if you don't like coconut oil, because it does have somewhat of a flavor to it, but I don't find it obvious or even noticeable in this recipe. It's the coconut you would taste more than the coconut oil. But if you don't like coconut or coconut oil, use an unflavored oil of your choice. So, you know what, before I pour that in, I could pour it in and then measure my maple syrup, but I'm going to use a 1/2 cup of maple syrup. So I've got in here 1/2 cup plus 2 tablespoons of oil, and then I'm just going to add on top of that my pure maple syrup. Bring it up to a little over 1 cup, because it went over a little bit with the oil, because it was a 1/2 cup and 2 tablespoons. So there. Now I've got just a little more than 1 cup of the oil and the maple syrup. Before I pour it in, I'm going to add my vanilla. I put 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Get to the bottom of that bottle. And then a teaspoon of almond extract. If you're one of those people that does not care for almond, you don't have to put it in. You can personalize this recipe very easily. So there, that's all in there, and I'm just going to pour it on top of my dry ingredients. And I'm going to stir it up until everything is really moist and coated. And I'm going to bring over a large jelly roll pan or baking sheet. It's just an inch up the side. Use what you have, but you need something large so you can spread it all out. And really get this mixed, because I can still see some things that are dry in here. All right, so I'm stirring this up really well, making sure that everything is coated. And then I'm going to pour it into this very large tray pan. Scrape out your bowl. And then we're going to not only spread it, but we're going to press it. Because what we want to happen is when we bake it in our 300 oven for an hour, we kind of want it to bake into a solid piece, and then we're going to break it up. So we have a few chunks in our granola, rather than it just being a bunch of small pieces of oatmeal. So just press it. And once you get it all spread out and pressed really well, you can see I'm not pushing real hard. We'll pop it in the oven. Only I can't pop it in the oven because the oven won't go on because of the storm, but thank goodness I made a batch before we started this. So that is ready to bake. Okay, this is all baked. It's baked an hour. Every oven's a little different, but you just want it nice and toasty brown. Let it cool completely. You don't want to add your fruit to the hot granola. We prefer blueberries, but you could add dried cranberries or raisins, but it is important that you add it after it's cooled. The first time I made granola, I threw the raisins in with the wet mix, and I spread it out and baked it, and every time you bit into a raisin, it just shattered in your mouth like glass. It was not good, and we had to pick out all the raisins. So I'm using about 4 ounces. This is an 8-ounce bag. I get these dried wild blueberries at Trader Joe's, and I use about half the bag. And now we're just going to take our parchment paper and just lift it and break up your granola a little bit. You can see it's got some nice chunks to it. You don't want chunks that big, but this is nice. Just mix in your fruit and break it up a little bit. This stores nicely in a sealed container for at least a couple weeks. This is my granola jar, and it holds all of that. This is 2,000 ml, just in case you're wondering what size. But it seals nicely, and I just lift up my, and I'm not going to do it on camera because it's sure to go all over my kitchen, but I just lift it up like this, and I pour it, well, nah, I think I'll pass. Anyway, put it in your jar and enjoy. I've never had anybody not love this stuff. It makes a great gift. Put a pretty bow on your jar and give it to someone you love. Thank you for watching. If you're enjoying my videos, give them a thumbs up. Leave a comment if you try this and let me know how you like it. Subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.